guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be filming this video as quickly as possible because one, I'm running out of daylight. It's the late afternoon, it's a very gloomy day, so the light is quickly disappearing. Two, there's lots of machinery happening close to my house, which is very loud. So I'm just going to try and whiz through this video as quickly as I can, but I wanted to get a record of these journals. I wanted to share them with you, and I wanted to obviously let you know that there's going to be a restock. I have 4 journals here that I've just finished. I have been working on these felt-based covers. I do have a tutorial on my channel. That method is a little bit different to this one. So there's 4 journals and they're really big journals. They each measure 6.5 inches wide by about 10 inches tall. So they're a nice big size. They're soft cover, so they're nice and flexible, and you can really bulk these up and fill them out. I've used a variety of fabrics and vintage linens and bits of lace and trim to create the covers, and they all have some extra features which I'm going to talk about really quickly. So you'll see here on this journal there is a pen loop, and this is completely removable. Every journal in this set has a pen loop like this, but each journal here I've put the pen loop on in a different way, so you can see 4 different ways that you can use it. So for this journal, the pen loop is tied, they all have a closure, so I'll open up the closure so I can show you what I mean. The pen loop that's removable can be wrapped around the front cover like so. So I've just tied this off in a bow, and it can be completely removed, and you can obviously slip a little pen in there. So that's one way that you can have it. This way is very similar as well, but this time I've tied the pen loop around the entire journal. So it wraps around the entire journal, and then you can slip in your pen or your pencil or your paintbrush or whatever inside there. And again, completely removable, so you don't have to use it. And then there are 2 other ways. So this is going to reveal some more features in these journals, which I think is really fun. On this journal, the removable pen loop wraps around at the back. I've tied it around the back cover. So if you take this off, each journal also has a pocket here, and then this piece actually folds out, and you have an additional pen loop space inside the actual journal. So this has 2 little pockets for pens or paintbrushes or pencils, and it folds in to be concealed inside the journal. Now, if you find that this becomes bulky or you don't want to have it inside the journal, you can also wrap it around to the back of the journal so that it sits externally on the cover. So you could then have your pen sitting on the outside. So another way to use your removable pen loop is to actually hold that still on the back cover. So if you wanted to have your pen loop piece folded back on itself so that it's sitting on the outside of the cover, you could then tie your removable pen loop around that so that it's not flapping around all over the place. And then you can actually still use the attached closure on the journal, and you can tie it off in a little bow. That way you can have several little pen pockets on the outside of the journal, and then you can also keep it closed. So there's lots of different options, and I'm sorry I am whizzing through the explanation because it's getting dark so quickly, but I hope that makes sense. So there's different options, but all of these journals are made the same way. They all have this longer back cover with a little piece of a vintage linen, which has several pockets for pens, pencils, whatever you want to put inside there. And then they also have an extra long lace pocket, which you could put like an envelope or little bits of paper or whatever you want inside there. So removable pen loop and attached pen loops, which can go several different ways. So it's completely up to you. You can also take this away and just use this exactly as it is. It's very versatile. So again, I just wanted to play around with a bit of a different idea and just explore my creativity a little bit with these soft cover journals and see what else I could do to make them a little bit more fun and a little bit more usable. So each of these journals has a very beautiful fabric featured inside as a lining, but also somewhere on the cover usually. So this one has this beautiful blue floral both inside and out. This one has this really bright, colorful, sort of summery or springy floral. Then this one has this ditzy yellowy orange floral on the inside, and also there's a little scrap of that fabric on the outside. And then the last one has this ditzy sort of yellow and blue floral on the inside and the outside. So I hope that kind of explains the cover design somewhat in a hurry. If you have any questions, of course, I'm happy to answer them. The removable pen loops are also coordinating with whichever fabric goes with that journal. So for example, this one with the little blue and sort of orange ditzy florals matches with the fabric on this one. So they're all color coordinated. They all include some pretty vintage linens, and they all have a different colored binding thread. So this one has yellow binding thread. This one has like a navy blue binding thread. This one has a dark green binding thread. And then the blue one has like a light sort of sagey green binding thread. I've just picked a color that I thought coordinated well with that particular journal. You can see here that each journal also has 2 little buttons stitched on the front cover as well. That's just for looks, and because they're nice and flexible, it doesn't get in the way when you're journaling either. So let me talk a little bit about the insides of these journals. So I wanted to sort of revisit something that I used to do a lot, which was tea dyeing. When I first started making junk journals, tea dyeing was my thing. It was in every journal that I made. And I hadn't done it for a while, so I just thought this particular style of journal will lend itself really well to that style. I wanted the pages in here in these bigger journals to be really, really usable, nice blank canvases, but then pops of interest, and a nice aged paper always just sparks that bit of inspiration. So I'm going to be pretty quick about showing you the inside of these, again, just because I'm running out of light so quickly. But I have tea dyed a variety of different paper types, and I've got all sorts of different color tones that I've achieved with the tea dye, and I really, really like how all of these books have turned out. I think I've achieved some really beautiful tones, and each page, again, is very simple. It's a nice, simple blank canvas for you to fill out with your special memories, but there's also little pops of interest. So I've used some beautiful papers from chapter 1, and I printed them onto tea dyed paper, so they have that lovely aged look. And I've just created some little pockets and little interesting bits inside throughout the journal, so that you do have little pops of interest and inspiration to get you going. I've used a couple of other types of papers, this really pretty sort of apricot cream paper, and I've also used a bit of craft paper in here. And as you can see, all of the pages are varied in size. There's some pockets, some paper bags, lovely crinkly textured paper, which is what I used to be so obsessed with when I first started making junk journals. I love the idea of being able to make such a beautiful looking journal from just basic paper, and being able to achieve so many different effects from tea dye that just looks so interesting and so cool. So in addition to all of that, I've also gone through and I've added in some bits and pieces inside the pockets. So these things are mostly vintage pieces that I pulled from my very well hoarded stationery stash that I don't like to use too much. So that's things like envelopes, flashcards, and lots of lovely like letter writing sets, stationery sets and stuff like that, that are they just have beautiful imagery on them, and I felt like that type of thing again just went really well inside these particular books. So that's what I've added inside most of the pockets. Inside most of the pockets of each book you're going to find that sort of stuff. So lots of lovely little lined paper writing sets. And I've also added, I don't know if you can see, but wherever there was minor rips in the pages just from tea dyeing, I've added little bits of clear tape, because I think it adds to that vintage look that aged paper often has. As well as that, there's a few other things to note. So all of these journals have some fold out pages as well, so you can actually fold out the page and you'll have a nice big wide spread to work with. And these journals, of course, are very, very growable. So because they've got that soft cover You can add so much bulk to this journal before it actually becomes really full. You can get them nice and heavy because you can just continue to add to these. And they are a perfect palette for painting, drawing, sketching and writing, and of course just gluing things in as well. So I think these are super usable. This is the type of journal that I would really love to fill out. So I will give you a glimpse inside each book before the sun goes down. As I've already explained the pages, they're very similar within each book. There's not a whole lot of difference between each. They all have very similar amounts of stuff. Similar amounts of everything. So ephemera added, similar page types, like it's very evenly dispersed. There's some little flip ups and things in here as well. And then this vintage music paper that I included actually has this really old tape on it, and that's kind of what I was trying to replicate on some of those torn tea-dyed pages. So I'll just flick through each journal really quickly so that you do get a glimpse of each one, and I'll try and get some close-up shots as well at the end of the video before that sun goes away. I've been waiting to film this video all day, but they're cutting down all of these trees in my house, which is so sad. And it's really loud, so I haven't been able to film this video until now. So I just wanted to quickly get in there with that last little glimmer of light of the day and try to get some photos of these and try and get a quick video filmed as well. But yeah, all the pockets are just random depending on what that page felt like it needed. Like this one has a little double pocket. There's some little short pockets at the bottom and pockets at the top. It's just random depending on what each page kind of felt like it needed. And I just really love the different varieties in the tones. Like some are very warm and yellow, some are kind of green, some are very light or have different contrast. I really love that about tea dyeing. Sometimes I forget how fun it is to see all the different results. So there is that one, and then I'll just flick through this last one. And these journals are going to be available in my Etsy shop as usual. I will have a link to my Etsy shop in the description box, and I'll have a time that they will become available as well. So if you are interested in trying to get your hands on one of these, I'll have all of that information in the description box so you can check it out. I'll also pop a countdown reminder on my Instagram account, just so that if you're in a different country to me, it will easily convert the time for you so you can see how many hours there are left until the restock happens. I'm really pleased with these. They feel so nice just to hold as well. I love a squishy softcover journal. Some of my favorites precious hoarded papers, like little ephemera pieces, are included in here as well. So I hope whoever does end up with these will really enjoy filling it up and have fun. Just, yeah, playing around with the different papers. And I feel like this type of journal makes me want to make each page look a little bit vintage, and it feels like it's already like a special heirloom. So that's what I really love about the tea dyeing. So that's it from me. Again, I'm sorry this video was a little bit rushed. If I have missed anything, if there's any questions that you have that you would like me to answer, just leave them in the comments down below. I'm going to quickly get some close-up shots to put into this video. I'm going to quickly take a few extra photos as well that I can share with you. And yeah, I will see you very soon in my next video.